Well, Dan, congratulations on
Thank you.
on the big move back here to Seattle. Tell me what your initial thoughts were when you were offered the job.
Excited about the prospects and the public, of coming to Seattle, coming to this city, coming to this organization. I think fortunately for me over the last 3 years, I've had a chance to work with a lot of people here, both from Ron and his staff to the team here and the staff here, the people in this organization. Like, it's super energizing, passionate. They have a great vision for where this organization can go. When Ron gave me the word, that was really, really excited and really humbled and honored to be able to get this opportunity to do it here with this group.
A lot of the successful coaches over the years, they kind of claim authenticity as a key tool to being successful. Do you kind of believe in that because you have to be your own man when it comes to coaching and not listen to too many outsiders?
Players aren't going to listen until they know how much you care. Quote is, and that really is placed to the heart of authenticity. And I think the players have seen me the last 3 years. They've seen me here. Think they've witnessed kind of how I act and what I bring. And the challenge now is they're going to continue to have to see that from me.
Yeah. But does that make your transition a little bit easier?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. I think Jared McCann knows what to expect from me as a coach already, having spent some time with the guys here. And I haven't established a relationship with all the guys here in the past 3 years, but pretty much most of them. I think that's a positive thing. It's a positive thing for them. It's a positive thing for me. I know them. I know what they do. I know how good they are. Feel like I have a good idea of how good this team can be because of how good they are. And I think they should be excited about the relationships that we already have and one that's going to go forward.
There's a lot of talk about the way you develop young players and have a knack of doing that. When you come to a young team like this in the NHL, you've worked with younger players and you'll be working with young players here. How much does that help as well?
So it helps a ton. It should carry over to the veterans and the older guys as well. They're not done developing in their careers. They're not at their best yet. I would like them to continue to get better and develop in their careers. Matty Beniers, he's still developing and he's still working to get to his best, and so that's the mentality I'd like them to have, even though they're veterans, even though they've made it to the National Hockey League. That goes to the team as well. We're still developing as a team. We're still trying to develop into a team that can be a championship team, and that process is, the younger kids, so to speak. Obviously in Coachella Valley, we kind of have that mentality, and they've had that mentality. I have that mentality in coaching them, and that's what I'm going to bring to the group here.
With your head coaching experience over the years, won a Stanley Cup with Pittsburgh, you have a ton of experience. When the veterans see that, does that automatically give you, these guys are like instant respect? Because some coaches come in, they don't have all those accolades and achievements. You do. That has to help you to communicate with veterans, at least give you that little something.
I think coaching that amount of games and being in those situations and having the result of the Stanley Cup, coaching the Olympics is all a part of me being a good coach. But the second we start here, the guys will get to scrutinize that and look at me as a coach. So I'm going to have to prove it over and over and over to them. So yep, it helps, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity to proving it to them, when we get started here in the fall.
As we wrap it up here, the Disco Dan thing. Come on now, Phil. We'll end on a light question. What's that from?
Back in '95 or '96, I was tossed into nickname limbo as a player. I was being called Bisey at the time, and someone claimed that nickname over me. And so I got thrown into nickname limbo, and that process took about a month to get through. And I was getting called, this 12-word long nickname for each day. It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it landed on Disco Dan for probably a couple of reasons. But that became my nickname back in '95, and it has followed me followed me ever since. And I think we talk about the evolution of coaching. Back in maybe '09 when I got to Pittsburgh, I was playing with coaching some guys that I'd played with and some guys that I had coached before, and they respectfully did not call me Disco. Nowadays, players are more than willing to call me Disco now. So
even in Coachella, those
even
guys?
in Coachella, they're more than they say it, and I makes me cringe a little bit. But that's the evolution of coaching now today, and so Disco Dan is still happening.
So you expect some of the Kraken
Probably.
players
Well,
at practice you'll be hearing Disco?
I would expect.
No, but it's not from any dance moves or anything.
There was a reason why Disco came about part of that nickname. So
Okay.
yes,
You're just going to leave it right there,
I'm
aren't
going to
you?
leave it right there.
Well, Dan, it is great to have you in Seattle, and best of luck as you get started.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.